Okay, so glad to be here. Um, I chose my title to overcome the ick factor with a joke, but sadly, it's often true. More people die of dysentery and other infectious diseases than the inciting disaster in major disasters. Um, Okay, okay. I'm a family doctor, retired. I always wanted to give my patients the tools to save their own lives, and I really enjoyed infectious disease. The ickier, the better. And my retirement career of disaster sanitation education fits both interests. I also took a midlife master's degree in science journalism. So family doctors are great explainers, and that made me an even better explainer. I'm a team leader in Portland Net, which is what we call CERT. Been teaching disaster sanitation around the Northwest for 6 years now, and building, testing, and refining cheap, practical equipment. And I and Duncan found me because I'm the president of Flush.org. Public hygiene lets us stay human. We are an all-volunteer nonprofit. We advocate for public restroom access, green sanitation, and disaster sanitation. We help develop the Portland Loo. Please hold questions until the end. I mean it. All questions will be answered. I live to teach, and the slides will be on my website soon. Learning objectives. I want you to know why people get so sick after disasters. And I want you to know what to do to keep your people safe. The big picture, preparing, managing, and containing. Part one, what makes people so sick after disasters? When sanitation systems fail, the bad germs in our guts get out into the environment. In the intestine, they were harmless. Some are even useful for digesting. Once they're in the environment, they reach the mouth via hands, dirty water, food, which is called the fecal oral route or fecal oral transmission. And the stomach is smart. It doesn't want them in there. The stomach expels the bugs with a gush of fluid that we call dysentery or severe diarrhea. It's food poisoning, but worse. The gut is just trying to help. Millenniums before germ theory, people knew poop was dangerous. So this is what sanitation systems are doing for us now, and it works better if we get it there quickly, so the E. coli and its friends don't spread too far. Without sanitation, these critters run free. Bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and some of them are resistant to hand sanitizer, especially norovirus, which ironically causes diarrhea. So there have been outbreaks of norovirus where people were diligently using hand sanitizer and it didn't make a difference. Consequence dysentery. And I want to distinguish between what it means for the patient and what it means for the community. The patient is miserable. And the community is contaminated, and more people around you are going down sick. This happens a lot in disasters, in refugee camps, in the houseless who are living in a disaster, and in the developing world. The most vulnerable people are children, the elderly, and pregnant people. Excuse me. Dysentery often kills more people than the original catastrophe, which means your sanitation team can save more lives than your medical team. Don't make toilet seats airtight. Don't seal away the pee and poo because you want oxygen to kill the worst bacteria. They're called anaerobes because they live without air. Air circulation kills them. How do we replace those sanitation systems when we don't have clean running water, we don't have sewers, we don't have flush toilets? The World Health Organization defined 5 F's that are the 5 routes that germs take from someone's bottom to your mouth. This is a UNICEF diagram of the 5 F's: fingers, flies, fields, fluids, and food. So 5 paths to infection, you want to block them all so germs don't get through. Fingers, wash those hands. Flies, cover poop in bucket toilets and latrines, and cover food. Fields, latrines. Fluids, store clean water, protect clean water. Food, keep flies off your food, wash your dishes. Fingers, make it easy for everyone to wash their hands. If it isn't easy, it won't happen. Don't blame people who don't wash. They're surviving. That's a basic principle in preventing error at nuclear power plants and in hospitals. Make it easy to do the right thing. Flies. Flies carry germs around. It's what they do. So you want to keep their tiny feet off the poop with all the germs in it. And you can do that in a low-tech way by covering contributions to poop buckets and latrines with dry materials like coconut coir, sawdust, wood chips, etc. And keep flies off your food because someone may have been careless with poop bucket covering. So the flies may be carrying germs around. Fields, that means latrines. And be hygienic with your latrines. Cover the deposits. Fluids, store water, protect water. And food. Protect food and from other critters too, rats and raccoons. Part 1, why this happens. A disaster that disrupts sanitation can sicken and kill via dysentery, infectious diarrhea. It's caused by poop germs reaching mouths via the fecal-oral route, and you can stop it. You can save all those lives and prevent all that misery if you block the 5 F's: fingers, flies, fields, fluids, food. Part 2, actions. We'll look at the big picture, preparing, and the nitty-gritty, how to make stuff. The big picture, poop versus pee, leadership, and the disgust reflex, and we'll look at New Zealand after their big earthquake. Poo and pee are different management challenges. Poop is dangerous, but we don't make much, like a half a pint a day per person. It's compact, it's lightweight. Pee is not dangerous. It's even useful as fertilizer. But the bad news is we make a lot of it, like 2 quarts a day, half a gallon, weighs 4 pounds, takes up volume, gets heavy. So team sanitation is what? You? The people who mind the poo and the pee will be among your most important life-saving people among the survivors. They may save more lives than the medical team. Their evolution created a problem. We have an instinctive disgust for poop, which is a good thing. Unfortunately, our disgust reflex extends to those who protect us from it, the sanitation workers. So you, the leadership, will need to openly value sanitation volunteers if you want sanitation to happen. If this is a thankless job, it won't be done well or at all. I think your medical people will get the urgency of sanitation and preventing disease, but in the first few days and week after a big disaster, you will want your medical people to be patching up survivors. Okay, the New Zealanders did an interesting thing after their huge earthquake in 2011, both technical innovation and social innovation. Big earthquake, Tuesday around noon. It was only 6.3, but a shallow epicenter, so very strong, and they have a lot of liquefiable soil. 185 deaths, not a lot, but massive infrastructure damage. Water, power, and roads were out for many months, and sewers took about a year to restore. Government did the responsible thing, got porta potties, put them in scattered around neighborhoods, which were too far away for many people, and no one felt responsible for them. So they were very badly maintained. For people who were more fragile, they got chemical toilets, which were what we'd call it a camp toilet, which were smelly and toxic and carcinogenic. The tanks in the chemical toilets had to be emptied and refilled every once in a while. The government put depot tanks for dumping the chemical toilet tanks into, and the tanks were hard to carry. They spilled. The elderly couldn't carry them that far, and some of the toilets broke under the users. So porta potties and chemical toilets were the right thing for a government to do, but they were very unsatisfactory, very unsanitary. That's an example of a tank, heavy sloshing, spilling. The Christchurch earthquakes not only broke the pipes and disabled the pumps, the liquefaction flows filled sewer pipes with silts and other fine material, which is very hard to remove from underground pipes. Of all the infrastructure services, water, power, telecom, roads, transport, the sewer system is most vulnerable to damage in earthquakes and the most difficult to repair. Identifying the damage, is especially difficult because it's underground. The New Zealand Permaculture Guild was living through this, and they knew about other sanitary solutions from green sanitation. They knew that it's easier to manage pee and poo if you separate them at the source. They knew about bucket sanitation. Pairs of buckets can separate pee from poo. So the permaculturists patiently began offering workshops. They were patient persuaders. They were not evangelists. They were not polemical. And individual interests slowly grew because the alternative, the status quo, was pretty bad. And 6 months after the earthquake, when the sewers were still months away from coming back, officials started to wake up and show up at these workshops. They eventually won consensus that their method was best practice. It's now used around the world. And it's also found in off-grid homes and cabins and on the front of leisure magazines. So that's the model we'll use for what to do with pee and poo. Basic, what to get, what to make, where to keep it. Numbers. After the earthquake, your community will look like a refugee camp. So ask the refugee camp experts, the UN High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, Peace Prize winners, Their minimum, based on data, is 1 toilet unit for every 20 people. Their data says if toilets are fewer than that, more people get sick and die. 1 toilet unit is containers for poop and pee or a latrine, hand washing equipment, and privacy shelter. That leads to big numbers. My neighborhood has under 1,800 people in it. We'll need almost 90 toilet units with hand washing units. Those are big numbers. Do your best. It'll be way better than nothing. Burning Man gets away with 1 toilet per 40 people, but they're all dehydrated. What you can get for bags of money, not much actually. On the left are 2 models of portable foot pedal sinks. And of course, you want hands-free to prevent contamination. These go for $80 to $1,200. Camp toilet, I'm sure it's higher than 150 now. And porta potties are around 1,000 and hard to transport. Now that you know how many you need and do a little quick math on a napkin of your neighborhood, your town, you don't want gold toilets. And you want these ready as close to day one as you can get them. So you want them in garages and sheds way before anything bad happens. FEMA will bring porta potties eventually. But while you're waiting for FEMA, if FEMA still exists, E. coli will be colonizing your whole neighborhood. Okay, how to make stuff. Hand washing stations. There are 2 types that are affordable, sturdy, easy to make and use. There's a spigot on a container, easy and cheap to make ahead in bulk, and something called a tippy tap. The very common turn spigot on a container. It's not hands-free. It's a germ magnet. Handle is easily contaminated and it wastes water. Popular for camping, outdoor markets, etc. Here's a better option. This is from the Emergency Volunteer Corps of Nehalem Bay on the Oregon coast. That gives these to residents and teaches them how to use them. Hands-free, water efficient, because the spigot closes when you take your foot off the foot pedal. I understand Duncan has been using a PVC pipe for the foot pedal, which is very interesting. I have tested these and they take about 50 mils per wash, so 80 washes per gallon. Running the twine from the handle up sideways and down keeps water off your foot. And I improved this a bit with drapery hooks to carry the twine instead of the eye hooks on the EVCNB model, which makes them stackable. We get buckets for free from delis and restaurants and caterers. So if the bucket is free, the only real expense is the spigot, which costs under $1 in bulk. It takes 15 minutes to make with a power drill. If you set this up inside, you want to plan for catching the water. Like put a bucket under the spigot. And there are instructions for this on instructables.com. Buckets free. And this is the tippy tap, and I just want you to know about this model in case you are stuck without hand washing equipment.
Nyala haja bobo mwami amwa boju batete juhu satoria atip tapi. Hala, gagbero ge diva herena. Ama, gogbe diva, odogwe mo. Towe me go poma, na tere. Uiro aje, ta go kujama towe. Yepe kelo, ta me lo bango kujama be. Vale lo. Ta me ga polo beju. Nyala haja, bobo. Mwami ya mwa boju ba kete mo. Satoria, atipta. Kelo, ta me lo bango kujama be.
That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, I suggest everyone copy this tinyurl.com tippy tap water aid and watch the video. Let's see if I can get it going. I'm sorry. But it's good to know.
Nyala haja, bobo. Mwa.
My my PowerPoint is jumping around. I hate that. Okay. I think I skipped some. Hand washing. Okay. That was hand washing. How to make toilets, urinals, latrines, and toilet seats. Twin bucket toilet. There are stickers for these made by an Oregon Regional Disaster Preparedness Organization. Duncan tells me they, when they made these stickers, they thought change would never happen because they put a URL on this, which is now a dead link. They include some shredded paper for the dry covering material. Okay, twin bucket toilet, pro and con. Cheap and available, easy to set up. Poo is easier to take care of without pee. The user has to move between buckets, which is easy for people with male anatomy. It's also nice that a household can manage their own sanitation and be responsible for it. Problems with the twin bucket are that moving between buckets is tricky for people with female anatomy, especially, I can say, older female anatomy. But if there are mistakes, not a big deal. Pee in the poo bucket just makes it heavier, not a big deal. But if you poop in the pee bucket, you have to manage the contents as poop, which is more work. So yes, perfection is impossible, but imperfection is manageable. What is this managing poop? We'll be stuck with it. We'll have to store that poop safely in sturdy bags and containers. Fortunately, that compactness of poo is a big advantage. Do you have roll carts about 64 gallons for trash and yard debris?
Yes.
And I think you have dumpsters. Dumpsters are very critter proof. They have drains in the bottom, make sure it's capped and there are no overhanging branches. And that will hold many, many months of poo. Keep it isolated from people, rats, raccoons. And this challenge of managing poop makes latrines look really good, doesn't it? Store waste in the earth, which takes care of it. And pee buckets and urinals, because separating pee, collected pee is easy to manage if heavy. Schlep it away from people, away from bodies of water, pour in ground, rotate sites, not down storm drains. There are many design options for urinals. Ping pong ball and funnel keeps the smell contained. Where was I? And the design in the center is from the Rich Earth Institute in Vermont, which collects pee for agriculture. Very cool organization. People with female anatomy can use urinals too, with female urination devices, and you can make your own from a plastic bottle. It does take practice in the shower. Latrines. Dig hole, save dirt. Poop and pee into the hole, including the toilet paper. Cover the poop with saved dirt or other dry material so flies can't reach it. I think we have time to talk about garden lime. Cover it well, mark the site, dig a new hole. Far from body of water. And choose the site pre-disaster if possible to avoid digging through utilities. At least 2 feet in diameter, 2 to 4 feet deep. If you hit water, stop, dig somewhere else. Plastic bags do not go in the latrine. When full, cover well, mark the site, dig a new one. Latrines, making them more pleasant. Add a commode, squatting board, or bench over the latrine, buckets of covering material, privacy structures, clear non-hazardous pathway. An occupied indicator is a nice extra. 2 sharp sticks stuck in the ground. Vacant means the 2 sticks are parallel. Occupied, crossed in an X. And path indicators, like light-colored sticks for finding it in the dark. Summary latrines. Choose site, dig, top, cover well, mark site. Dispose of pee. Buckets or jugs for transport. Be disposing of poo. Wait, let's think about that. The trash compactor sturdy plastic bags. The slide that explains why trash compactor is coming. Where do we store it? Protect people. Flies must be kept away from fresh poop. Rats must be kept away from bagged poop. Plastic roll carts hold 64 gallons, which is 500 person days of bagged poo. You have to store the plastic roll carts in rat-resistant enclosures or inside 1/4-inch hardware cloth or similarly secure building. Dumpsters. Dumpsters are your friend. These are waste management dumpsters. 2 cubic yards. A cubic yard is huge. 1,600 person days of poo, 2 weeks for 100 people. And I would not expect a firm plan for picking up the bags of poo after the disaster. I don't think authorities, elected or corporations, will make a commitment to do that for you. But if you collect it safely from people, keep it safe for people, they will deal with a done deed. Here it is, do something with it. I would be amazed if you can get a commitment from anyone to take care of it. Supplies, your disposables. Clean stored water, lots of it. Soap removes all the germs. Hand sanitizer removes most of the germs and is more convenient. For toilets, liner bags, only in the poo bucket. You don't need it in the pee bucket. Trash compactor bags. gloves for the sanitation team, dry materials, toilet paper. Soap kills most bacteria, but not norovirus, diarrhea, rhinovirus, common cold, poliovirus, polio, or protozoa like cryptosporidium. It's a diverse group. Soap removes all germs. It dissolves the skin oil that they stick to your hands with. Soap does not kill the germs. You have to rinse them away once they're detached. And of course, soap dissolves oil and grease to clean your dishes. Here's the poo bag liner slide. The mil, M-I-L, is the unit of thickness of sheeting material. And you don't want the huge contractor bag because, I mean, you can barely find the bucket under the bag. You don't want a thin kitchen garbage bag because it's too thin. It's the right size. Just the right size, the Goldilocks plastic bag is a trash compactor bag. So stock up on those. Dry covering material, many choices. Best is what you got with a container and scoop by the poo bucket. Wood chips, shavings, pellets, sawdust, ashes, dirt, straw, coffee grounds, mulch, Karr, soil, shredded paper. A lot of people ask about clay cat litter. It hardens and swells, which gives up some of the advantage of compact poo production, but cat litter is better than nothing. And slime combines with any of the above. When I first started teaching this, people asked me about lime because it shows up in Victorian murder mysteries to dissolve corpses. And so I looked this up. Quicklime, which appears in the murder mysteries, is explosive. So that wasn't the answer. Finally, I met some people who managed latrines at Boy Scout camp, and they said, yes, we throw some lime in the latrine every week or so when the camp's in use. And that made sense. Lime is an alkalinizer. It's why it's used on the lawn. It changes the chemistry. So flies lose interest and it stinks less. There are several products called lime. You don't want quicklime, obviously. You don't want powdered because it will fly up in your face and burn. You want garden lime or lawn lime, and you want pelletized or prilled. And you want to sprinkle it on like powdered sugar, I've heard. Sorry about the image. Okay, equipment summary. Hand washing, spigot on a bucket model, easy, cheap to mass produce. And you want them mass produced. So you have some to share with people who are working 3 jobs and didn't have time to prepare. The tippy tap, I just want to plant the seed in your knowledge base so people know how to do that when you're stuck without tools. Obviously only works well outdoors. Toileting, several options, twin bucket toilets, latrines, urinals, toilet seats, and the main option is the snap-on bucket toilet here. Supplies summary, water. You've seen this slide, haven't you? Never mind. Whoa, questions. I have a disaster sanitation web page. That's a QR code on the left, where I put all the presentations I've given for the last few years, the questions and discussion, the slides, the videos, if I have them. And on the right is flush.org. And there I'm teaching a class. Net has a camp, second weekend of September. We all get together at a Girl Scout lodge. I'm teaching the usual disaster sanitation, and this class is an abbreviated version of my regular class. And this year I'm teaching an advanced workshop, teaching teachers, because this material needs to get out to other communities. I have someone translating it into Spanish now. It's very exciting. And the second track is building all those bucket hand washers and kits for pee and poo buckets. If we have time, and Duncan, do we have time?
Yes, we do.
Okay, let's see what I can buzz through. The RDPO, which makes those pee and poo bucket stickers, received this email from a Turkish medical student after the February 6, 2023 huge earthquake in Turkey. And as medical students, see, the medical people get the urgency of this. They translated the stickers into Turkish and sent them out to save lives. Proof of concept. Sanitation justice. Economic status affects disaster survival. Richer, whiter neighborhoods have more camping equipment. Richer countries have building codes and enforcement, so their buildings don't collapse like they all did in Turkey. But everyone else, sanitation is life and death. I teach this because I think everyone deserves a chance to be safe from dysentery. Also, if your community is collaborating to keep everyone safe, your community is more fulfilling to live in for everyone. You build long-term resilience with connections. The connected community is the resilient community. Waiting for the professionals to bring in fleets of porta potties doesn't consider people at higher risk of dysentery: children, elderly, pregnant, and people working 3 jobs or in fragile health. And when did infectious disease ever wait for us to be ready for it? Storing water. I don't know what your CERT's plans are for storing water, but I found some bad science in this field, so I had to jump in. And I understand you have these Samson Stackers containers at a very good price. Hot water heater. Okay, here comes the bad science. There are 2 ways to clean containers. Glass jars for like making jam or canning tomatoes. Glass jars must be sterile to keep those fruit and veggies safe. You make a boiling water bath for the jars and lids, fill and seal immediately. You don't want your emergency water in glass because it'll break. So you are constrained to plastic containers for emergency water. And the CDC advises on preparing containers: wash the container and the lid really well, shake some diluted bleach water inside the container, then air dry your empty sanitized container and fill it. The problem is with air drying like in your dish drainer, exposed to all the organisms and schmutz in the air. So I called a food scientist, Sarah Massoni, and she said, no, the food industry standard is no more than 15 minutes. It will not be completely dry. And you hold it upside down, not right side up, open to the air. So if you hear any advice that you should air dry your container before you fill it with emergency water, correct them or just walk on by. Okay. I recommend adding a few drops of bleach to your stored water. Your stored water comes from the tap, germ-free. You want a bit of circulating bleach in that stored water to make sure any critter that gets in there will die and not multiply. So that's what the bleach in already clean water is for. And use fresh bleach. It expires. Who knew? And that water is safe for years, depending on how well the container is cleaned and how cool and dark its storage place. Wrong button. But you can test it. There are test strips to check whether you have that just a smidgen of circulating chlorine. So that is a satisfying answer. Supportive toilet seats and commodes. Toilet seats, because we'll zip through this part. Toilet seats, pool noodles, obvious choice. They're discouraged, but people will use them. How bad are they? They are not porous. Pool noodles are the kind of foam on the right, closed cell. Each micro cell is sealed off from the other cells in the rest of the world. So water and germs cannot get in there. The foam on the left is your kitchen sponge, which you want to be porous. So I searched, has there ever been an infected pool noodle? I found one case. So I think we should, if you have to use a pool noodle for a toilet seat, clean and sanitize it every few times, as you would with any toilet seat. The water table. What's a water table?
Merilee,
Yes.
can I jump in here before you get into the water table and talk about water?
Yeah, please.
One of our board members, Bruce Mackler, PhD, retired water toxicologist from the EPA.
Yes.
Gives us our direction on water.
Excellent.
And when we store the water in our blue plastic drums, and the reason for the blue plastic, the high density polyethylene is the same material that they line water reservoirs with. So the water utilities use it as a reservoir liner.
Food grade.
And we add a little bleach as we're filling the container. The water never expires. The water never goes bad.
Yeah.
Put in the bleach and water chemically never goes bad. The containers, the high density polyethylene containers have a shelf life of in excess of 500 years, unless they get hit with hydrocarbons. So you don't want paint thinner or gasoline near them. Other than that, they're fine. They will not have anything flow through them. There's lots of reports on the web that you can't have them in contact with concrete because something will leach from the concrete through the container. Well, if that were the case, then the water utilities wouldn't use that same material to line their concrete reservoirs.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's
Yeah. So you are very well set up for water.
right. And because our water utility EB MUD, the East Bay Municipal Utility District, gives us great water. It's not mud. But they say that after a major earthquake, we will have most residential service back within 30 days. So we stress that you should approach 30 days with your water, and that you need 1 gallon for consumption and 1 gallon for sanitation per person. So that's 2 gallons per person for 30 days.
Wow.
That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of water. Yeah.
55-gallon drum per person is appropriate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's not worry about the water table. Urine diverting toilets means that people don't have to hop from one bucket to the other. And there are many people working on making these affordable. The image in the middle, the two on the left are commercial, and you can attach them to buckets. The image on the right is from a boat modification website. So that is just the section of a bucket cut and perforated. Yeah. So urine diverting toilets would make the twin bucket toilet concept easier for women to use, or people with female anatomy. There are sources, or you could use a white plastic hat for urine collection and pour into the pee bucket when done. I think the need to handle the white hat full of urine and dump it into a bucket will be intimidating to some users. But advantages and disadvantages. And there's another model of hand washer with a foot pump instead of a foot pedal. It's a little costlier, a little harder to make, easier to set up. It's nicer. And this model is also on Instructables. You step on the clean waters in the bottom bucket. You step on the foot pumping bulb. Water goes from the bottom bucket up the faucet, falls into the basin, and into the top bucket, which is your gray water bucket. And so, and there you have it. You just put it there. It's stable in place, doesn't spill. And here the QR code for the instructions. Storing, did this, never mind. Raw water. There's, I don't know if you're going to need to filter water to clean raw water from creeks and streams and such. There's an organization in Texas that makes this ceramic filter that is 0.2 microns per filter, which is really, really good and affordable. They're somewhat old-fashioned. You can't order online. You have to phone them at the phone number on their website and have a conversation. But if you like conversations, they are delightful to deal with. So that's what I got. Any Other questions or curiosities?
I have a question.
Excellent.
When you showed the slide of the big dumpsters, can communities actually buy dumpsters?
Sure, you can rent them.
Oh, you can rent them. You wouldn't just
Yeah.
buy one.
The
rent.
the dumpsters, I think the dumpsters you see behind stores and such are all rented. But while I know how dumpsters work, I don't know much about their business model.
They're
Yeah.
all contracted. You set up, it's like your household dumpster. You don't own the 3 dumpsters out by your house. You buy the service and they provide the dumpster.
Mhm.
So Waste Management or whoever, Anna, I believe you're in Berkeley.
Yes.
Don't remember if you have Republic Services or who your garbage service is,
Mhm.
but they would rent them to you, and then it's all based on the size of the dumpster and the number of weekly pickups.
Mhm.
So it would not be something that we would look at in La Miranda. We would not look at having those on site just because of the expense and
Right.
the
Yeah.
physical location. Where would we store them?
Right.
And they would sit without being used.
Right. Yeah. But it seems like such a great solution though for a
Yeah.
neighborhood.
But it's a massive solution.
Yeah.
It's a massive solution, and it requires everyone to carry their waste to the dumpster.
Mhm.
And that's challenging, to say the least.
Yeah, in the bucket, but yes, that's where your volunteers come in and your appreciation for them. I plan to just know where the dumpsters behind stores in my neighborhood are.
Mhm. So do you envision like say I have a 2 block area that we're organized for disaster prep. So I'd say there's 50 households on each block. And trying to envision I could get each one of those households to do everything you just showed us. You know, it's just so hard to imagine getting people to do it, you know?
Mhm.
A major challenge.
Yeah.
Well, you can hold dysentery over them.
Yeah. And well, to educate them, they don't even know at this point, they don't even know that they could die of dysentery after an earthquake.
Well, I will talk to anyone. PTAs, children's birthday parties.
Well, we didn't know about you, Merilee, and now that we do, we really want to connect you with our CERT group, you know, and the city of Berkeley has absolutely no plan for this. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And
Mhm.
so we just want to get it rolling that, you know, get people educated.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a short segment to jump in here with, and then we can get back into our questions and answers, because I think that it will raise some more questions. So let me share my screen here. Can you now see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. And here we go. So our local status. Of course, we all know that our area is subject to severe earthquakes, and most of us are in La Miranda or on the other side of the hill in Berkeley. And so our EB mud water system is subject to a lot of of damage especially a North Hayward fault eruption. EB Mud has said that they will have most residential service restored within 30 days. And that's firefighter quality water. That's not potable. You can't drink it. It's just pressurized enough to fight fires. So all the pipes will be contaminated, but you'll have water pressure. Water pressure is all it takes to flush a toilet, which is a good thing. When there's no water pressure, toilets don't flush. Obviously, you have to have water to make them flush. That takes a lot of water to make the solids flow. Our Central Contra Costa Sanitary District, the water treatment plant is in Pacheco. It takes, let's see, they told me the numbers and I'm trying to remember. I think it's 500,000 gallons a week of water flow to their facility. That carries everything to their facility, and that's what they use in the processing of the waste. Without water, we can't get the waste to them. Even if we could get it out of our toilet, it would just sit in the sewer, and sewers break. So who knows where it would wind up. We have to do something else to get rid of the human waste. ABAG, the Association of Bay Area Governments, and Bay Area UASI, the Bay Area Urban Area Strategic Initiative, haven't developed any plans for human waste. They started pre-COVID. They talked about it a little bit, but nothing has happened. They never developed a plan. Neither organization developed a plan, and they're not working on it currently. City of Lafayette's Emergency Preparedness Commission, of which I chair, so I know I'm doing the plan. We're currently developing a plan. The challenge is what to do with the bags of waste once collected at the residential level. Can you imagine getting bags of human waste and throwing them into the dump truck or the garbage collection truck and having the compactor blade come down and compact all of that waste?
Yeah.
All over the inside of the truck and dripping onto the street. Not a pretty sight. So it's not something that Republic Services will handle. They will not do it in their regular garbage trucks. So I'm currently working with Republic Services. They recently bought an environmental cleanup company, and I'm working with them and working with what the federal laws and EPA regulations say and so forth as to how we can do it. One thing that we're currently looking at, and I don't know if it's going to fly, but we're looking at repurposing our residential waste containers. So the black waste container would become poo with no household trash in it, would just be poo. And the green waste, because after a disaster, we're not going to be worried about the organics, that would become the trash container. This is a possibility. It's just something we're looking at. So there are a lot of options here. We will have an answer at some point, but we don't have it yet. So anyway, that's where we are currently. What are we doing as a CERT Foundation? We're developing a program for the twin bucket system that Merilee was talking about. And I got some buckets and set them up. This is on my back deck. I just put up a container or a housing. This is just a pop-up housing that's a flat disc. When it's stored, it pops up so you have some privacy. Those 3 buckets, the black one that is lined is the poo bucket. The yellow one is the pee bucket, because that made sense to me. And red is supplies. The black and the yellow have toilet seats on them. So you can easily move from one to the other. The red one has a screw top for the supplies. And then the supplies, it's a starting amount of supplies, hand sanitizer, gloves, a couple of rolls of toilet paper, a roll of bags, and the brick in the back up here, that's cocoa coir. That's coconut husk fiber, and it expands. It's not usable as is, but when you put a brick of that size into a plastic bag and put in a gallon of water, it absorbs the water, it expands, and it becomes a carbon fiber material that you can put on top of the poo. So the cup here is just to dig in, get a cup of the fiber material and sprinkle it over your poo. So that's what we're looking at. We had pricing when I first went to my vendors and got information, but that was a year ago. So, and the price of everything has gone up since. So I don't know. And here's how we have our standard 5-gallon Samson stacker set up. Instead of with this turn spigot, this is a lever spigot. So that cord goes through a hole in the handle. And when you step on from the foot pedal just being a piece of plastic pipe, it dispenses water. Hopefully you capture the water that as it runs over your hands, it becomes gray water at that point, but that's good sanitation water. It's good for a lot of other purposes. So you don't want to just let it run into the ground. And that's all I have. Any questions for me or for Merilee?
I have another question.
Yes.
You know how I just had this idea before I heard all of this, that if I couldn't get everyone to do all this really, like this is like major, going out and buying all this stuff and keeping it around. I was thinking I would just encourage people to get porta potties, like, the little camping, toilets. Would is the 2 bucket system better than doing that?
Yes, it is.
Hmm. It's safer in terms of.
It's chemically safer. It does not require refills of chemicals. It is not using toxic chemicals. It's much cheaper, and it's stronger.
Okay.
Now, there's one other alternative solution, and that's because you can't flush your toilet, but you can drain all the water out of it. There are liners that are available that you can put a liner inside your toilet if your toilet is accessible. One brand is Lundberg, where you put the liner inside the toilet. It has a pad in it that is absorbent. You use it just like a regular toilet, and then you close up the bag and throw it away. You throw it into the poop container, whatever that is.
Uh-huh. Is that something you just order online, or would you get that in a hardware store?
You can buy that on Amazon.
Okay.
Duncan, say the name of that again, please.
I think it's Lundberg, Lunberg, I believe. It's a toilet liner. And let me,
Do you mean
Go-
wag bags? Waste alleviating gel, like double duty, etc.
well, there is gel. There are gel tablets or little pouches of gel that can go into a urine stream or into a mixed stream, and it will gel the liquid. But let's see. Okay. Lundberg, Lunderg. It's called a hassle-free toilet bowl liner with super absorbent pads. They come in boxes of 20.
And that's for both poo and pee.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that single use, or can you kind of accumulate it?
You can, I would say you can accumulate for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all a matter of how fussy you want to be with it.
Right.
So a degradable gel that you can solidify urine, and if you miss with your urine in your poo container, you can solidify with it. Wingy, Wenge, Eco Gel will solidify the urine. It's a degradable gel. And each little bag, and they are little bags, like a couple of inches, and it'll solidify 1/2 to 1 gallon of urine. Now, when you're storing your poo bags outside, make sure that they are well protected from pets, children, rats, flies, so forth. So double bag them if you don't have a sturdy container to put them into.
We have a situation in Berkeley where we had all these train stations in the old days, like during World War II, there were train tracks all through Berkeley. And so we ended up with these pieces of land. We just call them the triangles. And they're just all over Berkeley. And they're open land, and we use them for pet, dog runs and stuff. But we're
Sure.
thinking that we would dig latrines in all of those. So that's one option for us, having that situation.
And that would be great if you did it all in advance.
Yeah, I noted that and also to make sure you're not hitting utility things in the ground.
And this
And
is a very impressive organization, you folks. You are lucky to have Duncan.
thank you.
Usually in these presentations, somebody notices my earrings.
Did you make them yourself?
Oh, no.
Oh, that is so cute.
This is commitment to teaching.
Oh my gosh.
These were souvenirs of the early pandemic. Remember when no one could find any?
Yeah, yeah. That is really cute.
Thank you. This has been a fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
Yes,
Really up to cert standards.
I agree.
Thank you all for attending. And we will hopefully see you next month. Okay. Have a good evening and thank you all for attending.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Merilee. And thank
Thank
you,
you.
Duncan. So nice to meet you.